experience, I guess?
Well, I attended high school at Roseville High School, so go Tigers. A little bit of plug for the Tigers. I graduated in 1989. Many of my family members also went to Roseville High School. My parents graduated in 1964 from Roseville High School. So I have a background. I've lived in Roseville for pretty much my whole life, except for the time where I moved with my husband who was in the Navy before we moved back. So I had a great high school experience. I played volleyball, basketball, soccer, and swimming, all for 4 years. I was student body president and involved in many clubs and activities. Really tried to get myself involved in many different aspects of the high school, which is why I think I enjoyed it so much. And if I think back, I think freshman year was my most fun, and probably senior year, because it was so exciting. Freshman year, everything was new, and then senior year was all the senior activities were very exciting as well. So it's great being at Wood Creek. Wood Creek didn't exist, of course, back when I was in school. It was only Roseville and Oakmont, but the district has expanded, and Roseville has grown so much. I think when I graduated from high school, Roseville was 19,000 people, and now we're well over 100,000. So things have changed a lot, but I'm just thankful that to be back into the community where I grew up, and I always have a little bit of orange and black in me.
Based on your high school experience, what advice or wisdom do you have to share with WHS students?
I would say, I kind of mentioned it, get involved in as many activities as you can. The academics are so important, but you're gonna love school so much more when you have a connection in the classroom, but also outside the classroom and with teachers, and then with coaches and advisors outside the classroom as well. It just gives you more of a chance to get to know other people. So get involved in anything that you can. And I would say that moving into college after you graduate as well, and even after college when you have a job, just continue to be involved in your community and other activities.
Where did you attend college, and what did you major in?
I went to UC Berkeley, and I majored in English, and that's why I became an English teacher. I actually started out as a math major, and I'm going to be honest, I took a few math classes, and there was one math class in particular that was really, really hard, and I think I cried for the first hour of a three-hour final. Ended up getting an A in the class, but at that point I decided that I was kind of struggling between math and English because I love them both, and so I kind of went with the English route. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Teaching English, going through that route was it was a good call for me, and I miss being in the classroom actually because of the teaching English. But going back to college, it was a great experience. Berkeley's a wonderful place. If you ever get a chance to go and walk around the campus, I would highly recommend that you do that. It's a very diverse school with a lot of happenings every day, but it's also a fun place. So it was a great experience for me.
Or did you always plan to go into education?
I did. Both my parents were teachers. My grandmother was an administrator in Roseville City. So I kind of always did. What I didn't know was if I wanted to teach elementary school or high school. So I worked in schools throughout college in different areas in Berkeley and Oakland, just so I could have experiences in the elementary and the high school. I ultimately chose high school, even though it was very difficult, because I decided that age of student was better fit for me, and I also wanted to coach. So it was a tough decision, but I always knew I wanted to teach, but I just wasn't sure which route to go, and ultimately chose high school.
How many years did you teach English?
I taught English at Wood Creek for 2 years once we moved back to the area, before going into the assistant principal position, which I have held for 5 years. And I taught English 9, and I taught the English lab classes for those 2 years.
What did those positions teach you?
I think that the teaching, well, I've taught at many different schools, but teaching at Wood Creek, I think that Wood Creek has a little bit more of a rigorous program here, and so my experience here was more collaborative with teachers, the professional learning experience, team experience, the intervention experience, really working to get students to achieve at the highest level that they can. I think that was the greatest experience in the classroom for me. As an assistant principal, it was completely different. Those two jobs are just completely different. As an assistant principal, I would say the greatest piece of it for me, the biggest learning piece for me, was working with teachers from all content areas and students from all over the place, and really trying to bring different activities and programs that support students in all the areas that they need to be supported in.
And then what made you want to be an administrator?
I think that it was probably, Mrs. Rude kind of mentioned it as well, was when you're teaching, you're working with 100-something students each semester, but the administrative experience, you're working with hundreds more. So it was really being able to have, trying to have a positive effect on hundreds of students, thousands of students, and hundreds of staff members and colleagues. I would say that I still miss teaching, but I feel like I have a greater chance to impact more lives as an administrator, which is also, I think, why I felt that moving into the principal position, it even kind of expands even more. And even working at the district level, you feel like you have more of an impact on all of the students and staff in the district a little bit more too as well. But I always miss teaching. It's always going to be a piece of my heart.
What is your favorite part of your job as an assistant principal at Woodbury High School?
My favorite part of my job, which has always been, is working with people, especially the students. And that's also one of the hardest parts about thinking about moving from assistant principal to principal, is because I feel like that takes me a little bit more away from students. And so that part is difficult because that is my favorite part. I got into education, as I mentioned earlier. I didn't know if I wanted to go into elementary or high school, but I knew I wanted to work with students. And so that is my favorite part. Even if when a student comes in for discipline issues, I try not to make it a negative experience. Try to turn around and let's have positive and build relationships. So that would be that is the part of me that I feel like that's probably the part that I hopefully have the most impact on as well, but it's my favorite part, is working with students. And I like working with the adults too, and parents, but always back to the students.
What advice has Principal Rude offered you before stepping into her job as principal?
It's a lot of work. It changes every day, but you have to always keep a light heart and have fun. And a part of that is working with other people and being able to, sometimes, it can be very intense. I would say it's very intense every day, and it's ever changing. But to be able to do this job, you have to work well with people, and you have to be able to enjoy the people you work with, and you have to laugh a little bit every day. Otherwise, it can be you don't want to have the intensity of the job all day. You got to have those little breaks. So I would think that Mrs. Rude has taught me that it's okay to laugh in the appropriate times, and it's actually really important to have those moments.
What are you most excited about in your new role as principal at Wood Creek High School?
I'm most excited just to get started. I'm really excited for the beginning of next year, and for that first day when all the freshmen come in, and they seem so young because they're straight out of 8th grade, and they're nervous and they're excited. And we're onboarding a number of new staff members, so I'm really excited to get them onboarded as well, because I know they're also going to feel nervous and excited. So I think just the start of the year is what I'm super excited about. Getting going, getting the new students involved, getting the new teachers involved, and really getting going with the year.
How have past teachers, administration, and other staff members inspired you or influenced you as a leader?
So if I look back, my favorite teacher of all time, her name is Susie Godo, and she's been in the community a long time. I had her for 5th and 6th grade at Kirby Elementary School. She along with other people that I can think about, past coaches, it's their connections that they made with me and with my classmates, and they've really inspired me to be who I am. Whether it was in the classroom, on the basketball court, in an administrative position, it's making those connections with people. I felt what it felt like to be a student that was taught by them or coached by them, and I want to make sure that the students that I work with and the parents I work with and the staff members feel that connection as well. So that relationship is something that's really kind of inspired me by the people that I worked with growing up, and I try to make sure that I'm building those positive relationships and moving forward.
Okay, what is your vision for Wood Creek High School, and what specific programs and changes do you plan to put in place?
My vision is kind of what we've already had for the last several years since I've been here, is to build relationships. In particular, I'm hoping to build stronger staff relationships. We really focus on students, and that is important. But I think when staff members, if you see them interacting out on the quad and they're having fun and enjoying each other, the students feel that. And so I want to continue to foster those relationships with the staff members so that they will foster those relationships with the students, because in the end, Academics are important, but if people are enjoying working together, the academics will come and people will be happy to come to work every day. And so that's really what I'm hoping to continue to work on. And then also with the relationships you're able to know where people need to be supported more. And I can't not talk about the Wellness Center and all of the different changes that we've made to help people, because that's really it's the relationships and then knowing how to work with people, because at the end we want everybody to leave Wood Creek ready for high school, ready for college or job or life, whatever happens to them. So the relationships and supporting each other is really kind of my goal for both students and staff for next year.
What do you see as Wood Creek's strengths going as principal?
I think we have a very, very strong culture here. Just given by the number of people that want to, from outside the area, the Wood Creek area, that want to attend Wood Creek. And so we want to continue that strong culture, and I think it's important that that people come to school, that we build the relationship, that people are happy to come to school, like I mentioned. We want to see everybody wearing their gear, right? We want to see everybody put stickers on their car. We want want people to want to come here. We'll take 4,000 students if we can. Well, not really, but we want people to continue to love Wood Creek, and sometimes I'm out in the community, or I might be at Costco or something, and I hear people talk about Wood Creek. I overhear it, and it's always very positive. And I want to continue to foster that. And although we're opening up a whole new high school, there's something about this district too. It's not just Wood Creek. People are moving from the Bay Area and other areas, Southern California, to come to Roseville. Roseville is a great place to live and to raise a family. And Wood Creek's just a small part of that, but in a way it's also a very big part of that, if that makes sense.
In what areas do you think Wood Creek still needs to grow?
I think we have a lot of changes coming, and I think that will be a growth area in opening up West Park and seeing what that looks like. That there's going to be some changes in not just at Wood Creek, in our district, as far as the students that are coming in and what schools are going to go to, and so I think that, and I already mentioned too that we're going to be retiring a bunch of staff, and we're hiring a bunch of new staff members. So I think that'll be a growth area for us, making sure that the new people that come into our area and into Wood Creek, whether they're staff or students, families, the community, that everybody feels welcome and happy with where they are. So I think that'll be a growth area for us, but it's also a very exciting growth area. It's something that I'm really looking forward to.
What do you like to do in your spare time?
Oh, that's an easy one. I like to work out, and I like to spend time with my family. If I'm not working out with my family, then we are kayaking or we are traveling. Anything outside is my favorite thing to do. So it doesn't even matter where we go. I just want to get away, and it's hard because I have 2 kids in college now, and my daughter will be a senior. So we have very little family time where the 5 of us are together, but when we are together, those are my absolute favorite times, no matter what we're doing.
Lastly, is there any last words that you would like to add for students, staff, or parents at Wood Creek High School?
I am just super excited to get started. Wood Creek is a wonderful place. I'm thankful to be here. I'm looking forward to next year. We're going to miss Mrs. Rude greatly, but I will be calling her every day for advice, whether she likes it or not. But we're really, really excited for next year. It's going to be a great year. Looking forward to bringing in the incoming 9th graders and the new staff members that we have coming. So I could not be happier or more ready for this position.